Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Olson from the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I've been working with Julia for almost 100 episodes now, and she has really helped me grow my podcast from basically just my parents, my husband and kids, and my sister as listeners to over 17,000 downloads. I mean, the amount that she expanded my audience went way beyond my expectations. She really blew my mind. I have quadrupled the number of downloads over the past 12 months. Julia has been so much more than just my podcast teacher. She has been like a partner to me, really taking an interest in my program and helping me more than I ever could have asked for. I highly recommend Julia.
How amazing is that? I am so grateful that Dr. Lisa shared her experience. And if her story resonated with you and you're thinking, wait, I want results like that too, that is exactly what we're doing inside the Podcast Growth Collective. It's the place for online business owners who want to turn podcasting into a powerful growth tool without the burnout and without guessing what to fix. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally start seeing results from your podcast, I would love to support you. Head to thepodcastteacher.com/collective to learn more and to join us. And now let's jump into today's episode. Thinking about starting a podcast or trying to grow one that just isn't gaining traction? You might be making one of these 7 critical mistakes. They're more common than you think, but the good news is that every single one of them is fixable. And today, I'm showing you how. Hey there, I'm Julia Levine, aka the Podcast Teacher, and you're listening to Podcasting for Solopreneurs, the show that helps online business owners grow their podcast to get more listeners, leads, and sales. Whether you're launching your very first episode or fine-tuning your show to better support your business, these tips will save you time, energy, and a whole lot of second guessing. So let's dive in. The number one mistake that new and experienced podcasters make is quitting too soon. Podcasting is a long-term strategy. You need to be in it for the long haul and give it adequate time to work for your business. What is the quote-unquote adequate amount of time? 1 year minimum. Some podcast coaches will argue that anything before 100 episodes is quitting too soon, or even anything before the 3-year mark is quitting too soon. That might sound intense, but it matters because during that time, you are refining your skills, testing strategies, sharpening your message, and just working through the process. What you can't do is drop a few episodes, see no immediate return, and then walk away. Podcasting is a slow burn. You're building that know, like, and trust factor brick by brick. Stick with it. Mistake number 2 is talking to everyone. Now, I know that sounds logical, right? If you cast a wider net, you reach more people. But the truth is that when you try to talk to everyone, you actually end up talking to no one. Your messaging becomes vague and generic and forgettable. So instead, focus your show around one ideal listener. Picture them, name them, and talk to them every time you record. It can be incredibly tempting to try and help any and all potential listeners. But I promise that you're doing your show more harm than good by doing that. Make your messaging so specific that someone listening can immediately say, yes, this is for me, or nope, this is not my kind of thing. We lose people in the maybe zone. And don't worry about the people who say, nope, this is not for me. You are actually helping them move on, and your real audience will feel seen and heard in the process. Your message will resonate with them much more deeply. All right, mistake number 3 is making the podcast all about you. This one is tricky because, yes, your voice and your personality matter, but remember that your podcast is about your listener. You've got to put their needs front and center. It's okay to share your story, your challenges, and your wins, but only when it's relevant to them. You might have heard me say it before, listeners come for the information and they stay for the host. They like the host's personality, their teaching style. So yes, let your personality shine, share insights from your own personal journey. Just make sure to keep it useful and focused on that information that listeners are coming for in the first place. So for example, I share information about myself here on this show, but it's usually in the context of talking about my podcast or my business strategy. So I'm sharing things that are working well for me, challenges that I'm working through, or lessons that I have learned. I may occasionally drop a tidbit here and there so that you can learn random things like the fact that my husband Jeff and I had a Star Wars themed wedding, or that my current favorite on-air TV show is The Rookie. But those tidbits are short and sweet compared to the podcasting information that I share. Too many podcast hosts make the mistake of thinking that they are the star of their show, when it's really the combination of the information, the technique, the strategy that is really the star, and then there's a sprinkle of personality mixed in. If you're feeling a bit unsure about your podcast strategy, or you need help applying these tips that I'm going through today onto your show, let's chat. You can book a free consultation with me at thepodcastteacher.com/consult. Whether you are just starting out or trying to grow, I would love to help you get clarity and momentum. All right, mistake number 4 is bad audio quality. Now, you do not need a fancy studio setup, but truly bad audio is one of the fastest ways to lose listeners. The good news is that decent audio is easy and affordable. All you need to do is record in a relatively quiet space with a quality podcasting microphone. My favorite is the Samson Q2U, which you can get for under $100 USD. Then you can spend a few minutes, not hours, just a few minutes, editing to reduce any background noise, and then you can also edit out any big stumbles or retakes in the process. And that's it, you're done. There's really no excuse to have truly terrible audio quality on your podcast these days. So if your audio is unlistenable, people are going to tune out no matter how great your content is. So check the boxes to make your audio decent. Mistake number 5 is skipping solo episodes. If your podcast is part of your business strategy, you need to be the expert behind the mic, at least some of the time. A lot of new podcasters see interview episodes as quote unquote easier because there's someone to share the conversational load and to make it more interesting. While that is true, that approach isn't the best way to get listeners to know, like, and trust you. Solo episodes, just you in the spotlight, is where the trust is built. These episodes showcase your knowledge and allow you to connect directly with your audience, so don't skip them. Mistake number 6 is expecting to monetize right away. Yes, there are ways to make money from your podcast from day one, but for most of us, that's not quite how it works. I teach monetizing your podcast by selling your own products and services. And on average, only 1% of your listeners will convert into buyers. That's one of the reasons that we are so focused on growth of your podcast, getting more listeners. You need time to build up that audience and then even more time to earn their trust. So make sure and set realistic expectations. Treat any early monetization as a bonus, not the expectation. And finally, mistake number 7 is waiting to start. Waiting until you feel like you have the time, until you have the perfect title, until you have saved up for the best equipment, etc., etc., etc. I am not a fan of the cliche phrase, start messy. I don't like mess, and I believe that there is tremendous value in putting some time and effort in order to be strategic. But the truth is that it's never going to be perfect, and there's always going to be a reason to put it off. And at some point, you just have to call it good enough and launch it. Trust me when I say that clarity comes through action. I worked in the podcasting industry for more than 2 years before I started this show. I learned 10 times more about podcasting in the first year of doing this than I did in the previous 2 years combined. So spend some time learning and strategizing, but then move forward. I'm a big fan of the saying, done is better than perfect. And it's not just a catchphrase, it is a mindset shift. I encourage you to embrace that to help you get moving wherever you are on your podcasting journey. And whether you're just getting started or you're ready to take your show to the next level, I am here to help you move forward with purpose and clarity. Podcasting is a long game and you don't have to do it alone. If you want personalized guidance, go ahead and book a free consult with me at thepodcastteacher.com/consult, and we can figure out what is the best path forward for you. Don't wait for perfect. Get your message out there, start building trust, and keep showing up. Until next time, happy podcasting.